We've been following up in the series that Jesus Christ is a wonderful and simply the only God that we can ever put our hope and faith and trust in. He is the only one that we could ever put any form of faith, hope, and trust into. It's a wonderful thing to know him. It's a wonderful thing to know who he is and what he has done, and that when we really think about it, being woke, embracing this postmodern culture and striving to divide and break divides on our own, it's quite simply impossible. But ultimately, the only thing that we could ever have our hope in is Christ, because he is the only one capable of truly bringing absolute reconciliation, because he is an absolutely truthful God. He is the only form of truth that we could ever identify with. And we cannot have a right understanding of anything until we have a right understanding of the fact that the gospel of Jesus Christ states that in our own sinful, depraved human nature, we are unable and incapable of achieving anything that we might seek out to do ourselves. We cannot put ourselves up as kings on a pedestal. We cannot put ourselves up as queens on a pedestal. We also can't break any divide that we might see in this world. Now, Jesus Christ himself in the gospel said, I have come to divide father against son, mother against daughter, family against family, friend against friend. It's a flabbergasting thought to think. But what Christ has come to do, we are opposed to. We are opposed to the things of him. We are opposed to who he is. Now, when we think about it, in every single avenue of our lives, the only possible way of ever finding a stable, wonderful peace is Jesus Christ. And that is what we always seek out in this world, don't we? We look everywhere for all these things that can satisfy and for all these things that will give us acceptance and hope and peace. And we then get strings of this faith that will dictate to a degree that we have to do all these things if we want to, figure it all out, and if we want to make it our own way. You just have to look to the Old Testament in the times with the Jewish people when they had to be right with God. The elements that they had to take, the law that they had to adhere to, the sacrifices that they had to make, the priests that they had to go and confess to. All these things are still adhered to in some streams of the faith. And outside of the faith entirely, people are trying to find their own way, forge their own truth, and live their own lives. But we, from the glorious word, this whole Bible, every single verse, every single piece of grammar points to the personal work of Jesus Christ. Wherever that cross is. And when we get into the word and let the word get into us, we realize that we will never be able to find our own way, live our own truth or our own lives. We'll never be able to live our life of perfection. We will never be good enough for God. But that is the significance of why he came, because he is good enough. And in him we find our hope.